cloud, data, apps, all of that. Is it a human-born threat? We created the data. Now you can sit here and say we created the systems. Systems are creating the data. We can, as you start getting into AI, machine learning, I'm gonna just use the general term right now of AI for generative AI. You've got AI generated data. Well, it's still humans created the AI creates the data. It's all humans. It's all people. Humans are our greatest sensors because we still have intuition, but humans are also the greatest threat that we have out there. Whether it's insider threat, whether it's a hacktivist, whether it's a nation state actor, it's still a person on both sides of the equation. We don't have machines attacking machines yet. We have humans attacking humans. Whether they're going after my data, whether they're just trying to knock me offline with a distributed denial of service, it's still humans attacking humans.
Benjamin Corll, welcome to the Human Zero Day. I'm so excited for this conversation. I've been so looking forward to it. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, absolutely. Excited.
Very much appreciating your time, Benjamin. Listen, you've had a lot of experience in the security space, and I'm going to jump right in. You know what? Before I jump right into human security, tell me why you got into security.
So saying I have a lot of experience, I think that's a subtle way of calling me old. So I appreciate it.
I didn't see that. That's you.
No, I really got into security because I wanted to help people. I wanted to protect people. And there are bad people in the world. Bad people do bad things. And in order to stop bad people from doing bad things, you have to have good people who are willing to stop the bad people from doing bad things. That is what really drew me to security, is how do I stop this badness from happening? I don't have to go after bad people. That's law enforcement, but I need to protect organizations. That's what really drew me to security, is that defender or that protector perspective.
Incredible. Okay, so there's many different threats to organizations. Are there particular types of threats that particularly drew you closer to this world?
In short, when I started in security, it was IP tables and it was antivirus on workstations. So when I came, it was really the hacktivists or the opportunistic hackers that were out there. And yes, all called hackers at the time. We can say cyber criminals now. But at the time, it was more malware of stopping machines, having to rebuild machines. It was a pain in the tuchus. So how do we protect? How do we make sure? And how do we keep people out? And, access control lists, that was pretty sufficient back in the day. But that's not sufficient today. But those are some of the threats that were there. And then it became that cat and mouse of, as the attacks get more sophisticated, because the attackers behind them are more sophisticated, and really that mindset of it's something different every day. That was the other thing of, how do I make sure that my program is sufficient? I don't have to stop every attacker from every type of attack from getting in. I have to make my organization just a little bit more difficult to get into, that this opportunistic attacker is going to try to, this is a pain, I'm going to move on to someone else. Someone easier.
Joke, if you and I are stuck in a forest together and I spot a bear that's running at us, I don't have to run faster than the bear. I need to run faster than you.
You need to move faster than me, because I like you, everything. You're younger. You're half my age. I'm not going to outrun you. I'm going to trip you, and I'm going to keep running.
I love it. So Benjamin, many things to protect against. Lots of cat and mouse games in cyber, from cloud to data to applications to databases to the code vulnerabilities, operating systems, humans. What's happening with humans?
everything that you just mentioned it's all humans. So cloud, data, apps, all of that. Is it a human-born threat? We created the data. Now you can sit here and say we created the systems. Systems are creating the data. We can, as you start getting into AI, machine learning. I'm gonna just use the general term right now of AI for generative AI. You've got AI generated data. Well, it's still humans created the AI creates the data. It's all humans. It's all people. Humans are our greatest sensors because we still have intuition, but humans are also the greatest threat that we have out there. Whether it's insider threat, whether it's a hacktivist, whether it's a nation state actor, it's still a person on both sides of the equation. We don't have machines attacking machines yet. We have humans attacking humans. Whether they're going after my data, whether they're just trying to knock me offline with a distributed denial of service, it's still humans attacking humans.
And what are the most common attacks that you've seen, let's say in the last 2 to 3 years, in the context of humans attacking humans? I probably most of it is financially motivated, but what are practically the types of attacks that you're seeing?
So it's all that financially motivated is generally what I'm going to see, but what are they trying to do? And your prevalence, I'm still shocked at the prevalence of ransomware. And we shouldn't be, because you have ransomware as a service now. You have for half a decade as well. These it's a subscription model. So it's become commoditized. It's easier to do now. So but ransomware is just still malware. It's just one more version of malware or that malicious software, things like that. This financially motivated. And one of the things on that is business email compromise. I'm sure you've heard the adage of criminals don't have to compromise you. They don't have to hack you. Criminals are no longer hacking into your organization. They're logging in to your organization. So all I've got to do is get your credentials. And are you using the same credentials for all of your different accounts? Or are you using a password manager with unique for every account that's out there? But if they get access to, it was years ago, but if they get access to LinkedIn and they get the credentials there, what other accounts can they log into as well? Are you resharing those passwords? So those business email compromise, they're able to get into Acme. But Acme, third party now, Acme is a supplier to Amazon, to Cisco, to Microsoft, to Apple, and these larger enterprises, these larger organizations. Now they can go in and they can say, oh, you're a customer here. They can get in, use these same emails, use the templates, use all of those things, and they can craft a very realistic looking, and they now own this. So whether they're spoofing a domain, whether they're logging into the real domain here and sending it saying, please change the bank account, and it's on the real right letterhead, everything looks right. Or they have they've compromised, they can now create a rule inside this email. So it's coming from the right email. But any responses can be forwarded somewhere, or it can be moved out of the inbox to where the real recipient or the real sender there, the box that's been compromised, doesn't even know that you're doing it and that you have access to their account. Really bad things, very common now.
And I have a question, Benjamin. Maybe a simple one, but it's still an important one nevertheless. We've been building really phenomenal services to help us combat viruses and malware and intrusions on so many different aspects, which seem quite successful in detecting breaches, right? The world of detection and response, it's a big space. Why isn't this the sort of the big solution to what you're alluding to are as business email compromise, social engineering attacks that, if you look at them, you can pretty much point to them and say, we should be able to detect this.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing is there's no silver bullet here, and there's no easy button that you can push. And it also comes down to real adoption. Technology exists. And if you implement technologies that are there with the defense, meaning you have multiple tools. If one tool misses, the other catches. If one tool misses, is the other one there? How well have you implemented it? Are you properly monitoring? Are you reducing the, not just the attack surface, but the blast radius? I did mess up. My machine got compromised. Am I connected to a network of other machines now? I'm sitting here on my home machine. If you compromise my home machine, can you get to my kids' machines? Can you get to any of my smart devices on the network? Well, I have multiple networks in my house. You're not going to be able to jump from device to device because it's a segmented network. What are we doing? How do we reduce that radius, that blast radius of, if we can't prevent it, can we at least minimize and reduce the impact? Now, of course, I want to prevent it. And there are other technologies talking about the business email compromise. Your credentials are out there. Do we have the unique ones for every account? Well, how many logins do you have? Well, if I go in my password manager, I have just shy of 300 accounts that it manages. So I could have unique passwords. And this manager will tell me if I have reused passwords. So it'll give the passwords for me, but conveniently, it integrates to my websites, whether on my mobile device or on my personal device. So you've got multi-factor. So all of my financial websites, my retirement account, where my direct deposit goes as well, all of those require multi-factor. And you've got other things of multi-factor is your username, your password, a biometric, something you are, someone you know, something that you have. FIDO2 with different things like YubiKeys is one more way of going about it, of how do we reduce? But how do I know you are who you say you are? And all of this starts culminating into that defense in depth. But one of the things that I'm really, really passionate about is stop using yesteryear's technology. And I really, with the human factor, everything that it's there, how do we use technology wisely? And I'm an advocate of adopting zero trust models and not just buzzwords. We could throw a lot of acronyms out, but really, how do I stop connecting people to networks? How do I connect resources? Give me an identity to a resource. I'm only going to connect you once you've authenticated, tell me who you are. Does the connection make sense? Where are you connected to? How do I connect you only to a resource? And then how do I tear that access down when that session's done? Now you want to reconnect, you re-authenticate, but make it easy on the end user as well. Yeah. Is it the same person coming from the same? Make it easy, but also make it secure.
Now, help me place the problem of human security related issues in the larger context of different risks in the context of cybersecurity. And I'm going back to, in the beginning you said, everything is human, ultimately everything is generated by human, everything is operated by human, but there are different ways in which you as a CISO may think about protecting organizations, from creating firewalls to looking at your cloud cloud security posture management to DLP systems, right? You're spending money on a bunch of these different things. Where, in terms of the how big of a pain point, where does the human susceptibility to social engineering fall in line with these other pain points that you're actively resolving in the day-to-day?
Yeah, and I'd like to say, we're getting better. And humans are preyed upon, and they prey upon us using our emotions. Humans taking advantage of other humans. and a lot of the social engineering that comes along. And I can give you examples of, how I took advantage of when I was doing pen testing and red teaming and things like that. But a lot of it comes down to, humans being duped because of emotions. We can talk about deep fakes and things like that are now becoming more and more prevalent. We can talk about the types of LLMs that are out there that are being used by cyber criminals to create more realistic looking. So it's not Chat GPT, because if you go in there and use Chat GPT, but it's other GPTs, Rogue GPT, for instance, is something that within 4 or 5 prompts of things that you enter, the things you're typing in there, the questions you're asking, or prompts to the GPT, within 4 or 5 prompts, you can write a whole campaign to take advantage to repaint a website to make it look like a password reset for almost any account. And then you send that link, and now your users are being duped into it, saying your password has expired. Enter your credentials, your username, your password, and your new password that you want to. And then all of a sudden they enter that information, and it's a prompt that comes up. We were not able to process this. Please try again later. But it takes your username and your password and sends it to the attacker, who then will try to log on using your credentials. Yeah. All of those things become so much easier with some of these advances in these GPTs that are out there. So, but also things that I did as a red teamer is people want to help. And you sit there and say, can you help me out with this? And how do you get into a building that has guards there? Well, you don't go through the front door. You go to the back door, or you go out to Smoker's Corner. And you walk in with the people that are out there smoking. They all start walking in together. The smoke break is over. People walk in. All right. You think you're going to be questioned? Walk up with a couple boxes of donuts. Your hands are full. They're going to hold the door for you and let you walk in. It's little things. People want to help. And if no one's holding the door for you, you ask. You put them on the spot. Hey, my badge is in my back pocket. Can you either reach in my back pocket, make things awkward? Can you reach in my back pocket, or could you simply grab the door for me? You put them on the spot. Nobody wants to be confrontational. Nobody wants to say no. And no one wants to awkwardly reach into your back pocket that's going to be empty. Oh, I must have left it in my car. Little things like that. People want to be helpful, but they also don't want to confront. So put them on the spot. Ask them to open the door if they don't volunteer to do it. So that's another way of duping it. The other thing can also come in of, why would they hold a door for people? They don't see the value in the controls. So please, don't allow people to tailgate behind you. But we're humans. Oh, that looks like Bob from accounting. I recognize Bob. I'm going to hold the door for Bob. I'm not going to let the door slam in his face. So there's also that factor of not understanding that we still need, the security team. I want to see Bob's badge. I want to know, I need to know how many people are actually working in this building at any given time. If there's a fire, if there's anything, who do we need to, can we give the fire marshal a list of employees we know are in the building? Little things from that perspective of knowing who was there. It's not because I'm trying to catch badges or count badges and know who was there and were you 6 minutes late. I don't care about any of that. But from a human accountability perspective, but there's also the humans will go around our security controls that they don't understand if it's a convenience factor. And what do I mean by this? Well, those badges, USB sticks, going around. I'm tired. I need this file. I need to work on this file from home. I don't have a laptop. I mean, everybody has laptops now, but I have a desktop in the office. I'm going to copy this and then I'm going to work on this from home. Well, now this USB stick I copied onto, it's my own USB stick. Did I inject malware because that USB stick? Or is it a data breach because I'm copying sensitive information onto it to work from home? Did my DLP catch it? Things like that. Oh, you can't use USB sticks. I copied to my own Dropbox. Well, now I have a copy of sensitive information and I, the administrator, can no longer see it, or my controls are inadequate. It different reasons. I don't think any of that was malicious. There's malicious insiders from disgruntled people as well. Or you can sit there and talk about corporate espionage of here's $10,000, plug this USB stick in, and you give that to the cleaning crew as they're going through. There's all that's malicious, that's intentional.
Absolutely. So, and going back to the question of how you're prioritizing your time thinking through these types of risks, and you were talking a lot about the physical risks, but I imagine that each of these physical risks can be also associated to a digital one, right? That just simply over email, phone, video, SMS can be the same notion as, can you hold the door for me? Right? How do you think through how much time and energy you're spending as a CISO, or as your others are spending as CISOs, protecting from that versus protecting from other things?
Well, that's the thing, is everybody has this mobile device they carry with them everywhere. And how do I how do I protect? And is it a corporate device? Is it a personal device? If it's a personal device, what type of data can it have on it? Do you put an MDM, mobile device management solution on there? But all of those things is, I believe I have adequate controls on devices that I manage. Now, if I'm attacking you and I'm trying to get into your organization, I know that I'm unlikely to get it through your corporate apps. So I'm going to send you I'm now going to Signal. I'm going to WhatsApp. I'm going to Telegram. I'm going outside the enterprise application, and I'm now going to hit you up through that. I got your phone number somehow, and now I'm sending you something through a non-corporate. And I'm going to pretend to be an executive at your company. And I'm going to say, hey, you work in finance. I'm going to say, hey, Michael, I've locked up. This is Jim. I'm the CFO. I'm the controller. I've lost my corporate access. I'm about to jump on a plane. I need you to do this in the next 2 hours. I need it done before I land. Or we're doing a merger with this company. It's all hush hush. I've lost my corporate device. I need you to process this for me. Please keep it off the company, because this is still hush hush. It's still in the project phase. We can't have it going through. You know me. This is my face. This is where the deep fakes with the voices come in. I'm sending you an authorization via audio file as soon as I hit send here. Listen, you're going to recognize my voice. This is your authorization to process it. Little things. This is in a digital world. You know that person. That's your boss's boss. And you get it in. Yeah, it sounds like them. Well, those are very easy to create now, very cheap to create as well. If it's not free, it's pennies or dollars in order to create something like this. But how much validity or validation do we put into that of, yeah, that sounds like the CEO. That sounds like the chief operating or chief financial officer. Therefore, I'm now going to process this.
So what do we do about that?
Train people, let them know. Better controls, better tools. But I do believe this is at defense in depth. If my technology fails, does the human layer know that these things exist? Does it pass the sniff test? Have processes in place before somebody can pay a purchase order, purchase release, all of these things. When it goes above 5,000, 10,000, or 50,000 euros, or whatever that is, do you have things in place? Your process is in place. Does it need a second set of eyes? Does it now need a finance director to approve? Put controls, processes in place, and train your people to let them know that these sorts of threats exist, and to be aware of them. And when you receive them, how do you validate? Is it from a known number? Can you now go on an internal Slack? And that last one of that CFO hit you up. Can you at least say, Mr. or Mrs. CFO, I received something through Telegram. Can you confirm that this is you? You're not asking any details. You're not giving out project names. You're not, but you are saying, is this truly you? Or you can get on with their executives. So hit up their executive assistant and say, I just received something from, or purporting to be from. Is this saying they're about to jump on a plane? Can you confirm? No, I'm in the meeting with them right now. I can confirm they did not send.
How do you reliably create a training system that takes into account the externality of the way that these attacks are coming in? Because yes, we've had pre-recorded videos before. We've even had email phishing campaigns internally. But like you said, these attacks are no longer just limited in scope to the enterprise systems. They're out in the coming from the external world.
Yes. And how do I train my people and make it relevant to them? And sharing these examples of things that have happened to our organization in the past. This happened 6 months ago. This happened 6 weeks ago. Or what are some of the painful things that have happened in your organization? Even if it was from 2 years ago, did it hurt bad enough? And in the US now, with the new SEC regulations that are there of material breaches and materiality and stuff, remember we had to do an 8K on an incident in 2023. I mean, it wasn't reportable, but still, you can make mention of where you're still rolling things out. This is the way that they were able to take advantage of. Therefore, those are the types of things that are real and relevant. It's not happened to some other company somewhere in the world. This impacted us. It makes it more real. That's some of the things. But also, I used to get hit up of, oh, we have our annual security training coming again. We're going to have to watch these 3 5-minute videos, and people would, be grown, and people would see me walking by and they would tell me, hey, I'm halfway through the videos. And others would be like, yeah, just hit play on the video, walk away, come back, go get a cup of coffee, come back. It'll be done because you can't skip it. And then just answer the 2-3 questions. You don't have to really watch it. It's all common sense. So how do you make it engaging? How do you make it real for them? Because at the end of the day, we're investing the time to buy those solutions. We're investing the time to have people take it. We don't want them skirting around a system because it's not engaging. So what would be engaging? Ask them. Ask them what's going to be more engaging. And is it going to be things that are real or relevant to them? And when does it become relevant to them? And one of the things I realized when I was chatting to different board of directors, different board members, is I had a board member coming to me saying, I now have a teenage granddaughter. And I remember that you were talking to me about social media. And I kind of zoned out because I don't use social media. But now my 14-year-old granddaughter is asking to get social media. Do you have training that I can take so I can have a conversation with her? Or do you have training for her? And it became real for her at that point. How do we make it real?
And what have you found to be more effective practically? I know there's a few schools of thought when it comes to training. Let me share with you a concept like phishing. Let me share with you a case study of something that happened to us. And then let me show you how it actually looks like. And depending on how you react, then I will know where you're at and how to train you better, but you will have experienced it. Which of these is most effective? And which of these do you think we can actually use tangibly in the context of these new and emerging threats?
The short answer is yes. All of them. It's situational, case by case basis. Do we do the training? And then, not once a year, but how do we do it continuously? Giving it to the different teams. I'm giving the business email compromise more to my finance team. I'm going to give something different to my DevOps team. I'm going to give something different, account takeovers going to my DevOps team, things like that. I'm not giving everybody the same training. They may get the same general overall introduction to something, but I'm probably going to give the business email compromise things to finance or, those types of organizations. My executives, whaling, spear phishing, they're going to get a little bit extra. Same thing for my board members. They're going to get different. So I'm not hitting everybody with the same thing over and over. Do I have frequent offenders? People who fail phishing tests. I want to praise people who pass it, and then I want to engage those who continually fail. And we used to put up the 7 signs of 7 indicators: poor language, written poorly, that everybody should be able to discern that this is phishing. And I'm like, you're reading this from an American perspective. And what I mean by that is you're reading it as an American in broken English, because most of the phishing messages were coming in written in broken English. And I'm like, you see that, but somebody with English as a second or third language, it is written by somebody with English as a second language, and somebody else with English as a second language doesn't pick up on those nuances. Therefore, how do we train them? How do we, I don't even want that message making it to their inbox. So is it a technology issue before it's a human issue? So let's improve our controls that are here, yet let's also train our people relevant of what might be coming down, and using your newsletters, using your internal ways, using different ways of communicating. But that frequent offender now of, I see for the last 3 times you had issues, or you clicked, or you even entered information into this portal, and then you're having a conversation with them. Not to you're violating my acceptable use, do it one more time, you're going to get fired. No. I want to train them, because if I train them to be a better sensor, they detect more things, and they're going to talk to others. Did security come and smack them? That whole carrot versus stick. I want to train them to be a much better sensor, and now to be an advocate for me.
Benjamin, this was such an interesting and enlightening conversation. Thank you so much for spending this time with me, and for sharing with me your perspective and excitement about this space. It really came through. So I really want to thank you for being here. This was great.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you very, very much.